Consider this scenario. It's October of 2025, almost November. Government is shut down. Food stamp benefits are set not to go out in November if the government remains shut down. We've got federal workers furloughed, not getting paid. Some aren't sure if they'll even have jobs when government reopens. And meanwhile, the president, Donald Trump, is using the power of the presidency to demolish parts of the White House because he wants to do it, to build a $300 million ballroom, he now says it's going to cost, and is simultaneously suing his own DOJ for $230 million. What an embarrassment. And meanwhile, Republicans are mostly looking the other way. You ask Republicans, what about Trump suing his own DOJ for $230 million? They go, oh, I've been busy doing stuff, even though government shut down. I don't really know about it. Oh, what about the ballroom? Oh, I don't really get involved in construction projects at the White House or whatever the case may be. And when you look closely at what is going on, it is not only another reminder that money can't buy class, the gold-covered ballroom just looks so gaudy, but this is an insult to everybody that is suffering right now under the shutdown and struggling economically. And the demolishing of the White House, in a sense, is really a sad metaphor for this entire administration. You have the destruction of American business. You have the destruction of American alliances with our historical Western democratic allies. You have the destruction of the American dream. You have the destruction of our healthcare programs, et cetera, et cetera. And meanwhile, you've got excavators knocking down pieces of the White House. Now, there are kind of, I guess I would call them contrasting and parallel scandals here. At the micro level, the project is being done all wrong. First of all, it was going to be $200 million, then it's $250 million, now it's $300 million. The typical federal commission approvals for such a construction project have not been obtained. All of the right historical type of work hasn't been done with regard to the project. Trump has been caught lying about the specifics, saying the project's not going to affect the existing structure. Obviously, as we see, stuff is being knocked down right here. We see that it is very much affecting the original structure. But then at the same time, tons of federal workers aren't even getting paid right now because of the shutdown. And meanwhile, the whole thing is supposedly funded by private donors. Now, when I say supposedly, it very well might be funded by donors. And it might not be, and actually taxpayers are paying for it. But assume for a second that it is being funded by donors. It's basically legalized bribery. Trump, of course, knows who's contributing the money. And I'm guessing that if you contribute to Trump's ballroom, then you get invited to the ballroom and you get the opportunity for not only access to the president, but to be handed deals of different kinds and to be in the midst of, the presidential milieu and the entire thing. Now, there's one other aspect to this. It has not been lost on many in our audience that when the ballroom was going to cost $250 million, of course, now it's going to cost $300 million, but when it was going to cost $250 million, Trump is suing his own DOJ for $230 million, and he says that he would donate any money he gets. And Trump is building what was then a $250 million ballroom, which will be funded by donors. Now, I don't want to get all conspiratorial, but again, it's not really a conspiracy if it's all being done in the open. Trump says he will donate $230 million to charity, and the ballroom will be paid for by donors. I'm so sorry to ask such a basic question, but is Trump going to be the donor? Is Trump planning to get $230 million in taxpayer money through his DOJ lawsuit and then donate it to a charity, the charity being the donation pool for the ballroom funded by donors? Am I crazy to be thinking this way? Now, meanwhile, people around the country who can't afford an unexpected $400 expense without putting it on a credit card, they see a gilded $300 million ballroom going up. What do they think? What do they say? What do they think about the way that money is being spent? You see people who can't afford health care. You see federal workers furloughed who don't even know if they'll have a job. You see people who can't afford their kids' education. And this is what is taking place in Washington, D.C. And it really undercuts this idea of Trump as everyman. He really identifies with the average person. Does he? Because we've got tens of millions of people here at risk of losing healthcare over losing subsidies. And meanwhile, you've got Donald Trump building a $300 million gilded ballroom. Doesn't really seem like he understands to me. But the MAGA people just look away. They don't care. They're not getting involved. And meanwhile, we're still waiting for that healthcare plan, which I guess now exists, but it's a secret. A pending Supreme Court case could strip our Fourth Amendment rights and allow immigration agents to come into our homes for any reason, no probable cause needed, all while Republicans try to twist things so that you think this is all great for America. This should be the biggest story in the U.S. right now, but it's almost impossible to keep up with the millions of moves that Trump is making every single day. That's why Ground News exists. Ground News is an app and website that exposes the blind spots and spin before it takes control of our opinions. Ground News is the smarter, more reliable way to stay informed when MAGA is banking on us getting distracted. I'm partnering up with Ground News to give you 40% off the same Vantage plan that I use. So you'll pay only $5 a month for all of their premium features. Just go to ground.news/Pakman or use the code Pakman in the app when you sign up. The link is in the description or scan the QR code.